Gagliardi here, and today I have the new Osmo Action. Now, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen tons of videos comparing this already to the GoPro Hero 7, but for me, those videos didn't really go far enough to really answer the question, is it for me or is it not for me? So today, I'm going to be giving you my first impressions on the Osmo Action from the perspective of someone who's had the GoPro Hero 7 for about 3 months now. Unboxing the Osmo Action, first impressions are, in my opinion, it came in a much nicer box than the GoPro Hero 7 did. I'm not sure if that's because I got it at Costco, but overall, just like the box, kind of reminds me of a few Apple products. So in the box, first thing you're gonna see is the camera comes in a cage, has a few, stickers on it telling you what to do. Let's see, take this thing out of the cage. First thing I will say is, just first impression on the cage, I think I like this cage better. It feels overall more high quality than the cage for the GoPro Hero 7 does, but that's just my opinion. All right, let's see. It doesn't have the battery in it, you can see. So, go further into it. Got this little box here, and let's see. Let's just come on down. All right, so it gives us one mount that sticks to the bottom. Let's see, we got some other kind of mount. Not quite sure what this does, to be honest. And we have a USB to USB Type-C cable and a screw. So last but not least, looks like we got our battery here in a case, which is pretty interesting. GoPro certainly didn't do that. I think one interesting thing to note with this battery is it's a different design from the GoPro. So this one looks like just insert it on in and it clicks in, whereas the GoPro has a door right here and then the battery pops out and whatnot. But if you look at it, it's a smaller battery. I mean, I'm not sure what the MAH is, but hang on, let me pop out this battery. If you look at it, to me that looks like a much more significantly bigger battery here. And I think that's one of the most important things in an action camera is how much battery life you have. Now, it's going to take a little bit for me to test how much battery life this has versus the GoPro, but that'll definitely be in a video following up on this, because I saw almost absolutely nobody on YouTube talking about how long the battery lasts, and that's one of the biggest things that I hate about the GoPro Hero 7 is its poor battery life. I mean, for you to shoot a video that's more than, say, 20 minutes long, you really need to be carrying around 3 to 4 batteries, because if you're shooting in 4K at 60 frames per second, this really doesn't last long. Maybe it lasts you 40 minutes to an hour of filming, but overall really wasn't impressed with that aspect, that part of the GoPro. I'm hoping that the DJI Action will be a lot better in that respect. So other than that, I mean, overall differences, you can see that the lenses, it looks like this has a removable lens. The GoPro has a removable lens. You can attach other lenses to it. And the other main differences are, I mean, they're very similar. You can definitely tell that DJI was going for kind of like copying the GoPro in a sense with their design, but they put a little bit of their take on things to it. So I mean, obviously the most notable difference is the front-facing screen, which is kind of controversial, and at the moment some people like it, some people don't really care for it, some people say it's useful, some people say it's not. I guess I'll have to come up with my own take on that, but the rear screen is definitely a lot bigger, and I will say that the screen on the GoPro is really small, and it just doesn't really do anything for me. I usually use the app on my phone to really see what's going on the screen. So I think there's definitely improvements to be made there. So moving on in the video, I guess now we're going to move on to first power up and setup. Let's see, put the battery back in there. And I'm gonna start it up. Let's see, take off this protective film. And let's see, power on. Just finished installing the firmware. And let's see, first impressions on the user interface. Let's see, SD card empty, slide down. I already like that the screen's a lot bigger. I think that it's a lot clearer, a lot more responsive, and to me, things like that matter. You can adjust the brightness of the screen. I don't know if you could do that on the GoPro, but I don't think that's an option. Let's see, what do we got? Front screen will be displayed in full screen view. What does this do? Voice control. Command list. Let's see what kind of commands we can do. Got a good amount of things. All right, so we got our resolutions here. We got 4K 4x3, which I don't think any of us want to use. What is EI? Electronic image stabilization. That's probably what that stands for. 30 frames per second. See, I like shooting at 24 frames per second, and the GoPro doesn't even give you that option. So already it's kind of pulling ahead, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's see, EV, you got ISO settings, manual settings. I like that. I think that so far, this user interface is a lot better laid out than the GoPros. So overall, let's see. I'm gonna try the front-facing screen. Now, everybody has said that the front-facing screen's been very laggy, but I just installed the latest firmware update, so maybe that's been fixed by now. Let's see, tap it with 2 fingers. I think that was how you switch screens. Osmo, switch screens. No. Oh, look at that, it did switch screens. Okay, so I would say, so I'm looking at this right now, and a lot of people said it was laggy, but I'm moving it around very fast, and they've definitely fixed that issue. So if that's one of the reasons why you were deterred from buying it, I would say that issue's been fixed. I mean, overall, I would say at this point, like, another thing that I noticed that I like better is the doors on the camera just feel higher quality. So like, say for instance, when you're opening this door up, it's, I don't know, it feels cheaply made. It feels like it's gonna break off. It feels flimsy. This one just feels nice and solid. See, one motion. This thing, like, you know, it's all wiggly. It just kind of jiggles around. I don't know, very similar, but I just think it's overall improved design. Honestly, if I had to say something, what this camera is and what this camera isn't, I would say this almost feels like the next GoPro. Just, you know, it's obviously not a GoPro, but it just feels like this is just the next gen GoPro and this is just last gen. That's overall what my opinion is of this. And honestly, some people would say that the film quality isn't as good. I'm gonna test that out for myself in, you know, upcoming videos. But from the videos that I've seen on YouTube so far, the video quality is so similar. I just feel like for the additional features you get with the screens on this, you know, they're bigger, more touch responsive, better user interface. I think it's an overall, so far on first impressions, better value than the GoPro Hero 7. And another big thing that I'm going to touch upon lastly is the camera cage. One thing that I think that Osmo is definitely going to win, you know, really did well entering this market is they made a camera cage with the same connection as the GoPros. So you could use all your GoPro accessories. For instance, like say if you have old GoPro suction cups or, you know, handles, whatever you want to call it, they'll all work with this. And that's, you know, for me, that's what really sold it as well. Because all my old GoPro accessories are just going to work with this, so why not use this? Overall, I'd say that the Osmo Action is definitely worth giving a shot because why not? It's got a front-facing screen, the screen's bigger in the back, it's more responsive, it has a better user interface already right off the bat, and the app is very user-friendly. So I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to try this camera. Now, a lot of people have been very controversial saying that the GoPro Hero 7 has better footage, but honestly, there's a lot you could do post-editing, and you know, for what they are, these cameras are so similar. I would just go with the one that has the better user interface, and that definitely hands down goes to the Osmo Action. So hopefully this helped you. If it didn't, I'm going to be posting videos in the near future comparing the footage and comparing other things as I go along and live with this camera. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.